Check before starting. In order to ensure the safety of the operator and prolong the service life of the motor grader as much as possible, a thorough detour inspection should be carried out before starting the engine. Check frame weld joint for cracks, check oil tube for aging cracks. Check underneath loader for leakage of coolant, oil or water, look for cracks or bumps on tires and check tire pressure. Low tire pressure leads to insufficient loading capacity and shortened working life. High tire pressure leads to more violent vibration and heavier tire abrasion. Check tire bolts if any loosen happened. Check whether the cab glass is clear and clean to ensure a good view of the operation. Check whether the coolant in the water tank is sufficient. Pay attention to release the internal pressure before opening the water tank cover. Flammable substances such as wood chips, dead leaves, and paper can easily cause a fire, so check the interior of the engine compartment and keep it clean. Check the engine oil level, confirm the amount of oil, check the transmission oil level and determine the oil level on the dipstick according to the oil temperature. Observe the oil gauge of the diesel fuel tank. If you need to refuel, pay attention to filter with a filter. Try to fill up the diesel oil to reduce water vapor condensation in the fuel tank. Adjust the seat to the most comfortable position and use the seat belt. Before starting the engine, you must ensure that all control levers are in the neutral or locked position. Turn the parking brake knob to release the parking brake. At this time the parking brake indicator light will also go out. Confirm again that the transmission joystick is in the neutral position. Check after start. Insert the key and turn it on to the power on position. Turn the start switch key clockwise, turn on the starter motor, and the engine can start. Starting time is normally less than 20 seconds. If the engine does not start within 10 seconds, wait for 1 minute and repeat the starting process. If the engine still not started after 5 attempts, look for the cause and try again after troubleshooting. Verify that all instruments and alarms are functioning properly. Verify that the lights are working properly. Confirm that each hydraulic cylinder is operating normally. Operate the shift handle to confirm whether the function of the forward and reverse driving speed is normal. Drive the motor grader slowly and listen carefully for unusual noises from the engine, gearbox or transmission. Choose a safe place, turn the motor grader left and right, and confirm whether the function of the steering device is normal. Test whether the service brake is normal. Test the parking brake switch for normal operation. Stop the engine and check for coolant leaks or lubricating oil around and under the grader. Precautions when starting. When the engine flywheel and starter motor have not stopped completely, they cannot be combined to start again. Otherwise the gear of the starter motor and the ring gear of the flywheel may be damaged. When the engine water temperature is lower than 55 degrees Celsius and the oil temperature is lower than 45 degrees Celsius. High-speed driving and full load operation cannot be performed, and special attention should be paid in winter. When the engine is running, the power switch cannot be cut off, otherwise it will damage electrical devices such as generators. Do not run the engine at idle speed for a long time. After starting the engine in cold regions, it is necessary to preheat the hydraulic oil and repeatedly operate the hydraulic components. Description of indicator devices. Voltmeter. Gearbox oil temperature gauge. Water temperature gauge. Fuel gauge. Left turn indicator light. Right turn indicator light. Emergency turn indicator. Preheating light. Engine fault diagnosis indicator light, engine failure, symbol flashes, and buzzer alarm. Engine warning light indicates the state of the engine in which the driver needs to be alerted to flashing diagnostic trouble codes. Low engine oil pressure indicator light. Transmission oil temperature high indicator light. Charging indicator. Engine shutdown light displays important driver information and diagnostic trouble codes. Hydraulic oil filter indicator light refers to the hydraulic oil filter clogging alarm. Engine waiting to start indicator light. Blade buffer indicator light, prompting that the blade buffer function has been activated. Water level indicator light, low cooling water level alarm. Oil-water separation indicator light. When the water level in the oil-water separator increases to a certain level, the indicator light is on. Parking brake light. High water temperature alarm indicator light. When the water temperature is greater than or equal to 103 degrees Celsius, the symbol will flash and the buzzer will alarm. Brake system low pressure indicator light. Low gear pressure indicator light. Service brake light. Emergency brake light. Prompt braking system for emergency braking. Fan reverse indicator. Prompt that the cooling fan reverses and blows soot. Low fuel warning light. LCD screen control buttons F1, F2, F3, F4. Date. Engine speed. Chronograph. Engine oil pressure. Real-time voltage. Real-time working status. Hand throttle switch. Rear wiper switch. Handle work switch. Knife plate flame out down switch. Swing rack pull switch. Blade buffer switch. Voltmeter. If the voltage is less than 24.5 volts, and the number of revolutions is greater than 650 revolutions per minute, or if the voltage is greater than 27 volts and the number of revolutions is less than 650 revolutions per minute, it will indicate abnormal charging. If the voltage is greater than 30 volts, it will indicate that the system voltage is too high, and the buzzer will sound. Oil temperature gauge for torque converter outlet. In normal operation, the suitable temperature is 80 to 110 degrees Celsius. The highest working temperature in a short period cannot exceed 120 degrees Celsius. When the temperature exceeds the normal range and is close to the highest value, shift the shift handle to a lower gear. And reduce the engine speed or stop the operation until the oil temperature drops to the normal range. Engine water temperature gauge. Normal temperature of water from engine cylinder head is 60 degrees Celsius to 95 degrees Celsius, and a maximum temperature is 99 degrees Celsius. When the water temperature is greater than or equal to 103 degrees Celsius, the indicator light will flash and the buzzer will alarm. When the temperature is too low in winter, insulation measures must be taken for the engine. Engine fuel level gauge. It indicates the oil level inside the engine fuel tank. Refuel the tank when the needle points to the red area. Check the indicator signal for steering lamp. Check the horn honking. Check the color of exhaust gas. Check the steering wheel and inspect the reliability and airtightness of the steering system. Check the lighting system. Traveling. Put down the safety lever of the left armrest box, and press the handle work rocker switch at the right armrest box. The controller will have output. And the gear handle can operate normally. Put the moldboard at the minimum propulsion angle and fully lift the moldboard. At this time, be sure to keep a certain distance between the blade and the tire. In addition, when using the hinged oil cylinder to steer, you must pay attention to prevent the blade from the knife comes into contact with the tire. Fully lift the scarifier or other optional equipment. And select the appropriate driving mode according to the requirements of the construction environment. In automatic transmission mode, when pressing the shift lever unlock button, simultaneously push and release the shift lever forward or backward. The shift lever will engage and lock into the forward or reverse position. The driver only needs to press down on the accelerator pedal, and the grader will automatically increase or decrease gears based on the engine speed, transmission load, and other factors. In manual shift mode, when the shift lever first advances or reverses any gear position, press the shift lever unlock button again, and any gear position is locked in the current gear position. At this time, it is the manual shift mode. For upshifting, you need to push the shift lever to the right. For downshifting, you need to push the shift lever to the left. Note that gears 1 to 3 are used for leveling operations, and gears 4 to 6 are used for driving. It is recommended to use manual shift mode for greater construction operations. The machine adopts hydraulic gear shifting, so there is no need to stop when shifting gears. In manual transmission mode, In order to shift smoothly and reduce impact, when shifting from low gear to high gear, you should accelerate first, then as you push and pull the handle, reduce the throttle slightly. On the contrary, while shifting from high speed to low speed, lower down the speed first, then press the accelerator when pulling the lever. When changing the direction of forward and backward, be sure to step on the brake pedal first, change the direction after braking, and release the brake after changing the direction. Otherwise the gearbox will be subject to severe impact, which may cause damage to the parts, or the clutch will be damaged due to severe friction. Bite to death due to heat. The accelerator pedal controls the fuel supply of the engine. When the accelerator pedal is released, the engine runs at idle speed. When the accelerator pedal is stepped on, the engine speed increases with the increase of the fuel supply. When the brake pedal is depressed, the vehicle's brakes are applied, and at the same time, the valve is cut off to disengage the transmission clutch, thereby cutting off the power to the transmission system. At this moment, the rear brake indicator light illuminates. Note, don't use a handbrake while the loader is still traveling except for emergencies. Work operation, lifting and lowering of blade. Blade moves left and right. Blade angle increases, decreases. The blade turns left and right. Articulated cylinder left and right steering, the front bulldozer rises and falls, swing frame rotates left and right. Ripper raises and lowers. Front wheel tilted left to right. Plug cylinder, pull out the plug. Loader operation. The angle between the blade and the center line of the car body is the blade propulsion angle. When leveling the ground, the blade propulsion angle is generally set to 60 degrees. If the material is relatively hard, it should be set to a smaller angle. Extend the shovel fully forward, which is the maximum cutting angle of the shovel, which can be used for spreading, trimming, road leveling, etc. Adjust the shovel to the vertical position, which is the standard cutting angle, which is used for the regular operation of the grader. Withdraw the shovel completely backward, which is the minimum cutting angle of the shovel, which can be used for stripping and transferring soil-based working conditions. In shovel operations where the soil is mainly stripped and transferred, a smaller cutting angle, such as 40 degrees, and a larger advancing angle, such as 45 to 60 degrees, should be used to increase the blade length per unit. The peeling force on the surface and the resistance to lateral movement of the soil material are reduced. In leveling, paving, mixing and other working conditions, a larger cutting angle, such as 60 degrees, and a smaller advancing angle, such as 0 degrees, should be used to improve operating efficiency and accuracy. Scarifier operation, for most road materials, can be driven in first gear or second gear. Keep the teeth of the ripper deep enough to use the full power of the engine without causing the tires to spin. Use all teeth on light materials and fewer teeth on heavier materials. Note, during raking operations, neither twist steer nor turns are allowed. High slope cutting operations. Use the lifting cylinder to lift the shovel, press the button switch of the pin cylinder to pull out the pin completely. Raise the height of the shovel again, extend the swing cylinder, and rotate the center displacement bracket to the left until the pin is inserted into the highest position on the left inside the hole. At this time, contract the swing cylinder to make the traction frame swing to the left of the whole machine, move the blade to the far left, and make the blade rotate clockwise. Be careful not to touch the front left wheel with the front end of the blade. And then operate the left lifting cylinder at the same time, shrink and extend the right lifting cylinder. At this time the motor grader is in the high slope cutting state. Start the motor grader for slope scraping operations. Please use the first gear to drive, if you want to make deeper cutting. You can tilt the front wheels towards the side slope. Please be aware that scraping high side slopes is a dangerous task, and without adequate experience and training it could result in a serious accident. If you are unsure how to do it, please seek professional guidance and assistance. Shut down the loader. Reduce the engine speed and depress the brake pedal to parking the loader. Push the operating lever to neutral position. Release the brake pedal and press the parking brake button. Reduce the engine speed to 800 to 1000 revolutions per minute. Idle for 3 to 5 minutes to cool down the engine gradually. Lay the working device flat on the ground. Each handle is placed in the middle position. Rotate the key to off position to shut down the engine. Turn off the main power switch. Long-term storage. Wash the whole vehicle, dry it, fill up the fuel, add lubricating oil and change the engine oil before storage. Reduce the air pressure in the tire to about 80% of the standard operating pressure. Apply a thin layer of grease to the surface of the cylinder piston rod. Remove battery connector and cover, or remove from GRADER and store separately. Add suitable antifreeze to the cooling water tank.